Okay, hello. Welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel. Now, today we are going to be reacting to all kinds of things that have been happening in the wrestling world of late, including what we see there in the background behind DJ, SummerSlam, and we'll probably be reacting to Ric Flair's last match, and probably some of the other things have been in the news. AEW, Adam Cole, the Bucks. It's all been going on this week. TJ, say hello to the people.
Hey everyone, I am actually from the SummerSlam arena where Brock Lesnar kind of toppled the ring. I'm not reporting from my mom's basement anymore. I'm right here. You see, totally not an effect. Totally there live.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's kick things off. I suppose, with some of the news. What has been on your mind in the world of wrestling within the last week or so, TJ?
I mean a lot. Starting with Triple H taking over to actually a pretty good SummerSlam. Like anyone that has followed what I say knows that I'm really critical of WWE, but SummerSlam was pretty good.
Yeah.
Ric Flair's, like you said, Ric Flair's hopefully final match. I don't know, he might just come back again for another match. And the Bucks and Cole and Hangman and possibly Omega. So, well, a lot's going on. Also, there is, for AEW fans such as myself, there's some sad news. There's a chance that Warner Brothers, after the merger, they might have budget cuts. They are already cancelling. They cancelled Batwoman and...
I know, like, this is a wrestling podcast, but that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Like, if you got a film in the can, and then you, like, cancel it...
Exactly. They spent, like, $74 million or something on that.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's... I have had this conspiracy theory for the last couple of years that after the Snyder Cut, where they basically didn't have to market it at all and then everyone wanted it, I think like DC are just, and Warner Brothers are just looking for the opportunity to make fans riled up so they campaign for something that they don't actually want. I don't know, conspiracy theory again.
I mean, I'm gonna add some wrestling bit to it.
Yeah,
my big conspiracy theory is that they did that with Becky Lynch. Like, so with Bryan Danielson, then known as Daniel Bryan, no matter what they tell you, they did not want to push him. But they saw how organic that push was, and then they saw that they had the same thing with Becky and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we say with Becky, it was probably like it was an accident, but with Kofi, with the push they gave him, having him as the Iron Man in that what do you call that gauntlet match, and then having him win the Elimination Chamber only to lose to Danielson, or was it being eliminated by Danielson? Something he lost to Danielson at Elimination Chamber, like, and then that was that they were beating the fans. So that's my big conspiracy.
I mean, that's super interesting to think that they would do that, but, like, I'll tell you something. I think it was at the tryouts that they had before SummerSlam. There was, like, there was a few clips of, like, some of the wrestlers, or, like, Paul Heyman or whoever, talking to the potential people that want to be trainees to become WWE superstars. And there was Triple H saying, like, oh, there's nothing more fun than being a WWE superstar. You get to be in this ring, but in a few days we'll be in this arena, and you get to be in front of the crowd, and you get to control them. And I'm like, that's what you do. You control... And Triple H, you just admitted it. All you do is go out there and manipulate people. Manipulate the audience, you manipulate the dirt sheets, you know.
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Like, I just wonder how much of a mind game they're actually playing between companies. Like, there's definitely examples of it, but, like, is Triple H doing certain things just to make Tony Khan or whoever, like, hire people that they don't want? Because there was also that thing a few months ago where Vince was like, we can afford to give a few more talents to AEW, you know.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like, Imagine if some of these people that went to AEW were literally spies for Vince.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Sarajit's just joined.
I mean, if you look at it from that point of view, like ever since AEW became a thing, you have a group of fans who are like solely WWE, who will not watch anything but WWE, and more power to them. They can watch whatever they want to, but they were not as vocal about their support for WWE. Not everyone. I'm not talking about everyone, but a good amount of them were like. I mean, they used to like hate. I've seen a lot of people hate WWE before AEW became a thing, and then suddenly so with two companies, it's kind of you are generating that very hardcore fan base. So who knows? Maybe they are enticed. I mean, as long as it's good business for both the companies, I don't see a reason why not. Also, speaking of, like you said, them manipulating the crowd, for me personally, I would say since the Daniel Bryan Yes Movement storyline, the storylines that I've enjoyed the most in WWE were the ones where they at first they kind of told us that they're not going to give us what we want, and then people started rioting and it kind of makes you feel like, so when the Yes Movement happened, it kind of makes you feel like this happened because you were rioting. It kind of adds you to the whole storyline. So
they love that at ECW One Night Stand, probably the most famous sign of all time. If Cena wins, we riot.
Yeah.
They were like, this is great. You know, this is what the reaction we want to get out of people is.
Yeah.
But anyway, just to take a brief pause there. Sarajit, say hello to the people. How are you doing?
Hi, people. I'm doing great.
Good. So we were just talking about how WWE is manipulating us. They're controlling our souls. You know, I've been tricked into buying this Undertaker shirt. What have you got on there? What have we got?
Thanks there, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and what have you got? Oh.
The Rated R Superstar.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
There you go. Manipulated. Right, and I'm also owned by Marvel, so, you know, these things happen.
Let me get my Pokemon cap.
Get your
Game
Pokemon cap.
Me.
It's all good. It's all good.
If you're doing this the right way.
We're doing this. We're going all in on this.
Yeah, we're going all in on this. Yeah, Game Freak is manipulating me.
Right. Okay. So, we were just saying, like, Sarajit, did you see SummerSlam?
Hell yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'm going to start just because it is behind TJ here. My first reaction to seeing, like, looking at that image there, I just thought, imagine if you bought a front row seat and you are now obscured. You paid like $500 or whatever they charge. Like, literally for Clash at the Castle, or whatever it's called. Like, the front row seats were like $3,000 or something. So £3,000. Imagine if you're sitting there and you're watching it, and then suddenly the ring just comes up in front of you, and you can't see the last 10 minutes of the match.
Well, maybe I cannot see it directly, but there are giant prawns out there.
What? I didn't pay $3,000 just watch it on television in the arena.
Well, you won't get the live crowd reaction sitting at home either.
Yeah, I guess it's
watching from every angle.
Yeah, I guess it was more of a, like, you get to be so close to this ring that's destroyed.
Yeah.
I think it's more for the feel of it.
Do you know the one thing that was missing? The one thing that was missing is when they lifted it up, Hornswoggle should have been underneath.
That would have been so good.
That would have been so good. He's just like...
I think I pointed that out in the group.
I didn't see that. I didn't say that. But
that there's no Hornswoggle under the ring.
That
would have been so good. Not just Hornswoggle. What was it? The Wrestler's Court, right? No, Little People Court.
Oh my goodness.
The Little People's Court.
I mean, can
one
this
of the
do that in
2022?
2022?
Yeah.
Can this still do that without getting cancelled?
No, probably not. You can't do anything nowadays.
Well, if they turn to PG-14, TV-14, then they can do it.
No, probably not.
Yeah, they can do a lot of things, but they'll probably face a lot of repercussions after that.
But then there's D-Generation X. I mean,
again,
they got letters and warnings from the broadcasting channel during the Attitude Era, but still they did some stuff that were
Different era. That time people were not this offended.
no, but still they actually received letters and warnings. Vince McMahon actually received letters and warnings from the broadcasting channel, whatever the channel was, whatever the network was that broadcasted WWE or WWF at that time in USA, regarding some of the things that D-Generation X was doing at that time, back in 97, 98. And Mr. McMahon was furious with them, yet they continued to do their shenanigans. I mean,
I'll give you like the perfect answer for this. So Vince McMahon is someone who has survived the steroid controversy, whatever the whole Ashley controversy, the Chris Benoit controversy, Owen Hart controversy, and not once did he step down. But this, of course, I'm not taking away anything from what happened. It is a very serious issue, but the fact that Vince is stepping down, it has to have something to do with how times are right now. Like, if this was the 90s, maybe Vince would have gotten away with it. I mean, we have seen a huge cult being very pro Vince in this entire thing, but there's probably a greater number of people who are
what I believe is that what the scandals or the complaints that you are talking about, they happened in a very short period of time, in a very short interval of times.
No, they happened over since 2000. This has been going on. This was just under the rug. There were reports.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the drug scandal, the Benoit thing. I mean, those happened like just 3 years or 5 years or let's say 6 years.
Yeah.
This time period apart. Yeah. But this one happened. But this scandal came out at least. I mean, I don't know, 20 years after the last one.
Yeah.
Maybe he lost touch.
No, I think it also has like Vince McMahon. I mean, we know the
Vince McMahon lost the touch.
It's not Vince losing. It's Vince stepping down is a big thing. It has to do something with the current times where people.
No. I believe that Vince McMahon lost the ability to manage whatever the wrong that he has done because he was out of touch for over 20 years. There was no scandal in WWE.
Was there no scandal? What was the last scandal in WWE?
There were a lot of scandals.
There must have been scandals.
Not major ones like the
Chris
drugs.
Benoit happened during this.
Yeah, Chris Benoit was 2007.
Ashley happened during this.
The thing about the Ashley situation, though, is
Vince McMahon didn't.
Like, I think a lot of
not Vince McMahon, but WWE
I think a lot of the stuff with the Ashley situation didn't come out until many years later, like after she had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
China.
But she wasn't in WWE anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was, whenever she was named, she was always associated with a part of WWE. I mean, WWE just started to recognize her only after her death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate.
But I don't know. Like, I think there's probably been, like, obviously there's probably not been anything as big as Chris Benoit, but
take Ric Flair, like them completely cutting ties with Ric Flair. That's also because not justifying what he did, not justifying what any of these people did, but it's still my point is would they have cut ties with them had this been like 20 years from
I don't think so.
20 years ago.
No, I don't think so at all. Like, the world is a very different place in regards of, like, because of social media, the internet, everything is, it's hard for things to go away or be quietened down. Like, they just keep.
Also, you have to consider Vince McMahon's age. I mean, the guy's 77. Come on.
Yeah, but he wrestled at WrestleMania this year. You know. Look, all I'm saying about Ric Flair's last match is he's 73, so what's he complaining about? Vince went when he was 77.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if Vince sorts whatever this is, we're gonna get Vince McMahon versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
Vince McMahon versus Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan.
Of course.
well, there we go. But do you know what? Like, Vince McMahon is probably just working in the background. Like, he's.
I mean, that is something I also wanted to discuss. Like,
I mean, has
is
he
the whole
really?
new Triple H era?
Has he actually
Is it-
lost anything for the idea that his daughter and son-in-law are just continuing the family business?
Mhm.
Like, he really.
I mean, I like I told you before we started the show. SummerSlam was I think the first pay-per-view I watched in since I can remember. I really enjoyed it. However, I also read what happened on Raw and caught glimpse of it. Raw, it was like, I know I'm not saying it's a bad show. It was a good show. It was an okay show, but was it really that good of a show? It was consistent, which is a lot, which is saying a lot. They're putting a focus on the US title and everything. It was consistent.
Look,
But
all
we have this.
all that matters from that episode of Raw was how AJ Styles found a new way to get into the Styles Clash
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty
out of
good.
that flirt.
That
Yeah,
was
crazy move.
awesome. Yeah.
Crazy move. But yeah, okay. So let's come back a little bit to SummerSlam. We can continue with the Vince conspiracies. I've got no problem with that because I have a lot of them. But what did you guys think of SummerSlam? Any other particular matches jumped out to you?
I really enjoyed this one.
Well, yeah, that was
Never
great.
thought I would say this, that I would enjoy a Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns fight, but that also makes you think. Like, Lesnar and Reigns have been feuding since, I don't know,
The dawn of
WrestleMania
time.
31
Yeah.
for a long time. It took
2014.
them like 7 or 8 years to have
2015.
2015. It took them like 7 or 8 years to have a match this good.
Yeah,
The
because
one thing that has changed is Vince McMahon not calling the shot.
exactly. So now you know what the difference is.
We know, which also makes you think how many matches like would have gone a lot different if had I mean, like, we saw that with Styles and Nakamura. Styles and Nakamura in Japan had one of the best matches of all time.
Mhm.
Styles and Nakamura at WrestleMania. I mean, it was not bad, but considering the wrestlers they are, would have expected more. Again, this match. A lot of other matches might have been a lot better if Vince wasn't in charge.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You know, I think, and also they had this iconic moment, and I was thinking about even just that. That's probably we obviously had with Brock and the Big Show, the suplex that broke the ring, and then I think they repeated it with Mark Henry, and maybe even a third time after that.
Braun
Always,
Strowman and Big Show.
who was that? Braun.
No,
Braun
I think
Strowman
so,
and
yeah.
Big
That's right. That's right.
every time it was Big Show who got slammed.
Yeah, and now you thought the rings were safe because he was in AEW, but Brock's just here to tip that idea over, literally. But yeah, I thought this was like a spectacle thing, which I think kind of makes a statement as well for Triple H coming in, because that will be an iconic image that will last for many, many years to come.
Yes, and also I believe that it is a very bold step whenever they're doing something like uprooting an entire ring, because you know, as a part of the production, the ring is also part of I mean, we know that there are in professional wrestling there are mics hidden under the ring, and they are just exposing that. They just expose that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they gave us like.
But we didn't see the mics under the ring, though, did we?
Yeah, we didn't.
Maybe they removed it because of the match, but
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when there was when Nexus destroyed the ring. They showed
Yeah.
what actually the ring was made of, like wooden planks.
Was that the first
Not
time that
soft
happened, though?
material.
Someone tearing. Was that the first time that happened?
I think yes. Then it was Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker at I think at Hell in a Cell 2017.
Yeah, it was inside Hell in a Cell when they ripped the
2015.
ring off.
Yes, I think it was in 2016.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so anything else from SummerSlam other than this match? What did we think of Becky?
There's something I really want to say.
Okay, go on then.
Logan Paul, I mean, I don't like the guy. He was pretty good.
No one does.
However, he was pretty good. Like, I didn't expect him to be this good. However, people are, I think, putting him, like, I see people saying he should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. I see people saying, yeah, he's a better wrestler than Adam Cole. I see people saying his frog splash is better than Eddie's frog splash. So, yeah, I mean, he's good for a celebrity, but I've literally
The thing is,
seen
I
people
don't.
say his frog splash, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I really don't want to offend anyone that's watching. It's just something I saw. I've seen people say that if Eddie Guerrero was alive today, Logan Paul should teach him how to do the frog splash. I've actually seen people say that. So,
Well, that's ridiculous. That's just internet trollism, surely.
yeah.
What I will say though is you're right. He is better than Adam Cole. He's a bigger star within 2 matches. Within 2 matches, he's
I'm just trying to keep this PG.
okay. No, but look. Okay, I'm going to be serious on that point, and I don't even. I would never even have had that on my mind if you hadn't said it. In the world of professional wrestling, Logan Paul will be a bigger star in the history books than Adam Cole.
No, of course, I'm not talking about star power.
I
think
mean, like,
Logan
he's going to
Paul
go down. Like, I
already
think
is.
you even look at his opponent, The Miz. The Miz was a reality TV guy. Logan Paul's a YouTuber guy. He's come in and people are impressed. Now, I think probably the reality is that Logan Paul at WrestleMania and at SummerSlam had to have that exact match because he doesn't have, he plotted the match out. It would have been led by at WrestleMania by Miz and Mysterio. Here it was led by Miz clearly, and he couldn't. If you put him in a ring with someone who's a rookie, he couldn't lead the match.
Yeah.
But I think he is going to keep doing this, and he might wrestle somewhat of a Brock Lesnar schedule because he's a big star and doesn't need to do this anyway. But I think he's going to keep doing this, and it wouldn't surprise me. Because look, also, they showed that Triple H and Stephanie signed Logan Paul.
Yeah.
They're like, Triple H is looking for something that's going to be huge. Logan Paul is going to win the Royal Rumble next year. You've heard it here first, guys.
If that happens, then I riot.
Oh,
Yes, we're doing it. Look, Cody, the era of Cody is over. Cody knew he had to say coming in, oh, Triple H is my favourite wrestler. It's too late, Cody. You smashed the throne. You're going to be on. They're going to bring back Velocity just for Cody to wrestle on. Yeah, exactly. He'll be Stardust.
He'll be Stardust again.
Exactly. And he went to AEW to start it. He's come back. I don't think he's going to get back to AEW. He'd be a joke if he's there now. He's going to be Triple H's bitch until the end of time.
But that also makes you think. Now that Triple H is in charge, and because of Cody's injury and everything, did he lose his heat? Like, when, let's say he comes back during the Rumble. If Cody wins the Rumble now, would it be as meaningful as it would have been if he was not injured, if he wrestled till the Rumble?
No, I think what will happen is if he comes back in the Rumble and he's going to obviously win it, I think the audience are going to turn on him and he'll be in the exact position he was in at the end of his run in AEW, where the audience just boo him.
He'll not want to turn heel again.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be the same deal.
Go back. So next we see Cody in Control Your Narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what, like, I would like to see Cody get a world title because I think that's fitting for like the story, his career. I think he's good enough, and like, other than this injury, it probably was en route to happening. So it'll just be interesting.
That also makes you think. They have been so on SummerSlam. I noticed one thing. But I think it was Michael Cole, who is apparently pretty good when Vince McMahon's not shoving things in his ear.
Yeah.
Said that the last time, I think that Brock Lesnar wrestled Roman Reigns' cousin, The Rock, at SummerSlam, and they were making a lot of references to The Rock. So that also makes you think. WrestleMania is in Hollywood. Do we get Rock versus Roman, or do we get Cody versus Roman?
Well,
Wait,
this
is this year's WrestleMania in Hollywood?
Yeah,
Or
I
the
think
next year's WrestleMania.
No, I think this coming year's WrestleMania is in Hollywood. They're calling it WrestleMania Hollywood.
Yeah, but like either way, the simple thing they need to do, and they do need to do this, is split up the world titles. I am all for the idea of Roman being a world champion for 10 years. Like, do it. Like, no one's gonna be like San Martino and like some of these old records, but Roman could, especially if you've got 2 world titles, you just have the other one flip back and forth. And so give Cody it, have Bron Breakker come in and like be a world champion if they want. And obviously Logan Paul will be world champion, no doubt. But
while I agree with you, I'm actually gonna, like, for the sake of WWE booking, I'm gonna kind of not want that to happen, because now that Roman is on his schedule and they don't have a world championship, they're forced to elevate the mid-card belts. Like, would you have expected so much focus on the mid-card titles if Roman was there? Like, the program that they did for the US title would have been for the world championship if Roman defended the UWU championship.
the UWU championship, yeah.
UWU championship. He defended it. Like, they're actually. I also think the fact that they turned Roman heel, like, during Roman's babyface run, I mean, everyone and their grandmothers saw that that's not working. They just did not want to turn him heel. If they had turned him heel, they would have been forced to make a babyface out of someone else. Now that Roman is heel, and I mean, they have Cody, but again, now that Cody's injured, they might be forced to make a babyface out of someone brand new.
Well, do you know, again, Triple H is there now, so we're going to see, whoever survived the dark age of NXT 2.0. Like, Tommaso Ciampa's obviously going to get a bigger push now, and
Gargano might return.
Well, exactly. That's one of the big things. I think a lot of people, like, this is, like, the timing of everything. Tony Khan putting out that tweet saying, I'm the longest running CEO and like whatever. It was just another sign that Tony Khan, he's being a little bit like cocky or whatever.
I think it's.
I was just going to say, and so like there are some people that aren't happy with AEW. When AEW started, and for a good couple of years, it was really seen as like this magical place against the evil WWE. Yeah. Now Triple H is in charge, it changes the landscape entirely. And at the same time, I mean, look at the situation a week ago with Jonathan Gresham, and we've heard about a few others. And if Sasha and Naomi are coming back rather than going to AEW, this all says stuff. And I really feel like this is going to be the war that we've been waiting for since AEW was announced. Yeah. And Triple H is not going to go down with that loss with NXT. He's not going to take that laying down.
I'm actually gonna, like, as an AEW fan, I'm gonna say that I'm actually happy about this, because I would say Tony did get a little complacent, and now that if he realizes that right now I can't, like, so Tony Khan's his demographic was always the smarky audience. It was not, AEW is not a spectacle. AEW, not at least till now, they have never their idea is not to bring in a Brock Lesnar or a Hogan and to bring in more fans. It has always been the pure wrestling side of it. I mean, okay, they did bring in a few celebrities, but they're...
Yeah, like, hang on a second, just to, like, let's just look at that. AEW, literally on celebrities, have had Shaq wrestle just on weekly TV. They've had Mike Tyson there. They've had Snoop Dogg wrestle.
When did Snoop Dogg wrestle?
When did Snoop Dogg wrestle? He did the best...
You're an AEW fan?
Yeah, Snoop Dogg did the absolute best frog splash we have ever seen. I'm going to find it. Right.
That's Logan Paul's frog splash.
No. Like, Snoop Dogg frog splash. Here we go. Right, Snoop Dogg frog splash. Let's find this. If it's not on here, it'll be... Oh, not frig splash. Right, if it's not on here, it'll be on YouTube. But it was the most incredible thing. Let's see it.
But you get what I'm saying, right? I mean, those were one-off things. They were never... Shit, I didn't see this. Ah, okay, I remember this. Yeah. Yeah, I remember this. greatest frog splash
Epic,
ever.
man, epic.
So but you get what I'm saying, right? Like their idea is like their main events are always more based on like the indie style of wrestling.
Yeah,
So
certainly.
their fan base is the hardcore smarky audience. Now with Triple H, uh, I mean, a lot of us before AEW, NXT, like the old NXT, the black and gold was the AEW for us. So if that goes on like mainstream television, that kind of makes Tony think it should make him worried. Like he's losing his main audience. Like this is the first time he actually has a threat of losing his like the audience that is dedicated to AEW.
Yeah, do you know what
So
though? What I think, what Triple H needs to do, and clearly, look, SummerSlam we got like a tractor tipping over the ring, and it's still big and spectacle, and it's something, when you compare it to AEW, look, they have done a stadium stampede, they did have the exploding fireworks ring match and stuff like this.
greatest explosion ever.
Exactly, right. So, they can do some stuff like that, or at least attempt stuff like that as well. But what WWE needs to do is keep all of the spectacle, because that is one of the things that makes WWE what it is. But let some of the matches run an extra 5 minutes, and cut out the gaga, cut out all of like the nonsense, cut out that Austin Theory is stealing Vince McMahon's egg, cut out the choo-choo train noises for Braun Strowman when he was there, cut out the Firefly Funhouse and all this garbage.
No,
Right.
dude,
Yes.
the Firefly Funhouse was awesome.
No, it was the worst thing in wrestling.
That was my favorite thing about that WrestleMania.
I'll never forgive them for doing that.
I mean, they could. I mean, considering what they had, I felt like the Firefly Funhouse was more of a satire on WWE. It was like Vince even said
Yeah, it would have been
that.
great on Saturday Night Live.
It was good. I loved that. I'm also a big fan of the whole lore of wrestling. So I really like.
But there were so many
supernatural
other ways they
characters.
could have done it. That could have been, if they had done all of those things. Well, except for they couldn't have had Cena participating in it. But they could have had so many of those ideas just being vignettes running up to WrestleMania. Calling that the match. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. The amount of times on this show I have debated the quality of that match or not. But anyway, but the point is, if they just cut out some of the stupidity that Vince would allow to happen, have consistency in the storytelling, and let the matches be good matches without like cheap finishes, without being like a 2-minute match and stuff like this.
Without being the same rematches 5 weeks in a row.
Well, exactly. Some of the stuff that was happening these days, and bring a little bit of the edge back. Some of that DX
Edge
vibe.
is back. Edge returned a few.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, bring some of like the hard like attitude era style, just attitude to it. Imagine if they got in the ring and they were like, "Hey, here's the 24/7 title. We're renaming it the Hardcore Championship." The place would explode.
Yeah.
Just give some people what they want. It's simple. And then, like you said, control them so then you tell them what they want.
Yeah. So, speaking of this, there's this two things that one thing that I want to discuss is that now that you have Roman with the U Championship, since if Triple H does want to make a statement, does he still go with the Rock match, or does he actually have someone, or the Cody match? I mean, at this point, the Cody match is also kind of on the spectacle side, or does he have someone brand new? I mean, Cody, let's be honest, at his age, it's great if he wins the championship, but he doesn't really gain anything from winning the champ. I mean, of course, symbolically a lot, but wouldn't it make more sense since Roman had this really long title reign, for someone completely brand new, someone completely new to dethrone him?
I don't think so, because the logic here, and when you think of now, unless Triple H really doesn't like Cody because of like the throne breaker and stuff like this, I could imagine.
I think I'm willing to bet when Cody did that, Triple H probably sent him a text and he was like, "I should have hit harder. Should have." I don't think.
Well, exactly. We'll never know. But
I believe Triple H actually contacted Cody Rhodes after he did that, after the throne breaking incident.
Probably.
Triple H actually congratulated him.
Yeah,
okay. But like, here's the thing. So obviously NXT, Dusty was a big part of NXT. I can imagine that Triple H will feel it's part of, like, because obviously Triple H is old school. You know, he respects all of the old school and everything. I can see that he will follow through, and he'd look at who Dusty Rhodes was, and Dusty Rhodes was never a long world champion. He could give it to Cody. Cody could hold it for 2 months, and then you drop it to your Braun Breakers or your Logan Pauls or
Austin
whoever.
Theory cashes in on Cody.
Well, yeah, exactly. What, like, I think maybe the next night on Raw, if Cody was to win it at Mania, they could do that the next night on Raw if they wanted. But I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, I don't think Austin Theory is the next guy.
Do you think it's going to be another field cash-in?
No, he could win. I just think, like, I feel that Austin Theory is more the next Jack Swagger than the next John Cena.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just like I'm probably wrong on this, but I feel like it's too soon for him to be Mr. Money in the Bank.
Also, if you remember, when they did the first promo for Money in the Bank, Cody said there was this one video package with Cody saying that there are 2 ways of, like, winning the Money in the Bank gets him one step closer to main eventing WrestleMania. So what if the idea was for Cody to win the briefcase? What if when he comes back, he wins the briefcase? You have Rock versus Reign, and because Cody's a babyface, he does this. He announces that he's going to cash in, and because WrestleMania has 2 nights, maybe night 1 it's Rock versus Roman Reigns, and night 2 it's the winner of that match against Cody.
I really like that idea. The only thing about that is, imagine The Rock main eventing WrestleMania on night 1 and not on night 2.
Could win.
Can you imagine The Rock signing himself up to wrestle 2 nights in a row, though?
That too.
Like, his last match was 3 seconds long.
Austin main evented night 1, so...
Yeah, but yeah, The Rock is still The Rock. He's not a night 1 kind of guy. You know.
True.
You know.
But again, I think these are the things that we might see different in Triple H's. I mean, if someone can convince The Rock, like, hey, you're back for like 1, or in this case 2 nights, you lose nothing, you know, losing here. You're putting your own cousin over, and what they could do is they could maybe have Cody, Cody wrestle Austin Theory on night 1 for the briefcase, and that way Cody also isn't looking like Cody's not looking weak that he defeated that he beats a Roman that's wounded, because he also had his match, and then it's very New Japan, but
I don't know though. Like, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't Cody really upset that someone else had got the briefcase years ago? Was that like even?
Damien Sandow.
Yeah,
Damien
and like Cody was like, I should have won it, and literally everyone in the audience was like, no, that's not how it works, you know, sort of thing. I think that'd be a mistake to revisit that.
But that time Cody was a face. Cody. That way he was face.
Yeah, I know he was face, and he came across like a heel because he came across like he was a whiny bitch.
I mean, I'm gonna argue Cody should have won. I mean, see, they were never gonna put the title on Sandow. Cody was someone they could have put the title on. I mean, something I really dislike is failed cash-ins. Like, Sandow, so give Cody a run for like a month and then put it. So you're protecting the Money in the Bank gimmick. And if Cody did have his World Championship run, maybe he wouldn't have left for AEW. Maybe Cody would have still, you know, remained. Maybe he's like, okay, I got to be champion.
Yeah, so, like, well, that would go back, and then it probably wouldn't ever have been an AEW.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been an AEW. Yeah.
You know. Okay, so a few other things, just because like time is really getting away from us here, and this is one that I do want to come on to. Whether you've seen the event, seen the match, or just like, I want to talk about the Ric Flair's last match. So I don't know.
I did.
You saw it.
I did.
Okay, Sarajit, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw a few glimpses.
Okay, well, what were either of your impressions of it? Sarajit, you've got... That is exactly right. I have never seen a match Like Ric Flair came out to walk down the aisle, and he'd got the belt on, and he was like he was going to fall down, like his pants were falling down, and he was like struggling with it, and he seemed a bit oblivious. There was no showmanship to it. He wasn't anything like Ric Flair that we know.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
At one point, I thought Undertaker's gonna punch him.
Undertaker should have tagged in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I remember when during I think it was back in 2008 when Ric Flair gave his farewell speech in WWE.
His
The
first
Undertaker
farewell
broke character. Undertaker broke character. He came down to the ring. He congratulated him, shook his hand, and now it was his. And now Undertaker retired, and then Ric Flair is
still
having his
wrestling.
last match. Flair still wrestling.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean, I'm kind of happy he got to go on his own terms. Like I think everyone should
yeah, me too.
have the right to go on his
Yes,
own
but at
terms.
the same time, one should understand or one should
Of
know
course,
that
completely.
that time has long gone by.
Completely. I mean, time went by like 10 years ago.
10 years, 15 years minimum.
Yeah.
Well, like, so
I mean-
on in terms of like what he actually did, and I've made this comment so many times. At some point, I'm actually going to get in a wrestling ring and have a match, just so that like it will look terrible, but just so that I could put together a match and say to Goldberg, to Ric Flair in this circumstance, to Bret Hart when he wrestled Vince. There are so many things you can do in a wrestling ring, which doesn't have to be the last match, what Ric Flair did or what Goldberg doesn't do and stuff like this. And especially he's the dirtiest player in the game. We had a thumb to the eye at one point. We had a low blow. There's so many moves that you can do where you don't need to run. There's so many moves where you don't need to slam. Ric Flair took one suplex in that match and he was literally passed out.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many other things you could have done. All he needs to do is this. Like, I think there was even a training video where he, like, hip-tossed Jay Lethal. We've seen people wrestle the Invisible Man. So,
Oh.
literally, they could have just bounced around Flair's aura, and Flair would have looked $1 million.
Yeah.
He didn't even need to, and he didn't even need to use the bleeding zone.
He was always going to do that.
He was gonna do. I mean,
He's been desperate to blade for years. You know. But, like, towards the end, when you see Andrade just, like, give him the knuckle duster, like, into his hand, and, like, Flair's hand's like this, and then he's just, like, completely out of it. Like, I saw, like, the big reaction, and look, good luck that, you know, someone was able to go out on their own terms and stuff like this. In that regard, you know, then I say all power to anyone that wants to do that. But he was just so scary. Everyone on Twitter was like, please don't die in this ring.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. I saw a meme where apparently Charlotte convinced him to not do a suicide dive. And there was, if I'm allowed to say it...
When did Flair ever do a suicide dive?
He wanted to do one for this match. And if I'm allowed to say it...
Go on.
If he did that, suicide dive might have had a brand new meaning to it.
Well, exactly. But, well, unfortunately, sometimes it has had that meaning.
Yeah.
You know, look at La Parka or something. You know, he literally...
Chris Benoit.
Well, Chris Benoit, not
Benoit.
from the move, but literally that move can be incredibly dangerous. But... No, if he wasn't going to suddenly be like Ricky Morton breaking out a Canadian destroyer, like suddenly in the last 2 years of his career.
I don't trust Flair. I can totally see him go crazy and be like, yeah, I'm hitting a suicide dive.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to do a shooting star press.
I mean,
That's
the guy survived an airplane crash, got hit by lightning, I think 2 heart attacks.
Yeah, it's crazy, and like. Okay, so but in terms of the match itself, like obviously Andrade could do everything that Andrade can, and he could do whatever with Jarrett, and he especially could do more with Lethal. But they couldn't do everything to outshine Flair, so everyone had to bring their game in a bit, so that it wasn't like they're up here and Flair's down there. Jarrett, I thought, did really well.
Yeah.
Like this may legitimately be the highlight of Jeff Jarrett's career.
And he got to wrestle. He got to wrestle Ric Flair's final match.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, since Jarrett was this good, better than anyone expected him to be, something that I really want to see. I mean, this is again the smart in me, is that I think Jarrett is signed with WWE.
Yep.
He
was at SummerSlam.
Oh right, he was the referee.
Yeah.
So I would want to see one last Jeff Jarrett AJ Styles feud just for the good old TNA.
That would be great. I'd be there for that.
Have Jeff Jarrett retire wrestling AJ Styles.
Jeff Jarrett isn't going to retire wrestling AJ Styles, and here's how we know. Because apparently Booker T has said that Conrad Thompson contacted him saying that next year at StarCast, would he like to do Harlem Heat's last match? So this is definitely a thing now. Conrad Thompson, he may as well be renamed The Undertaker, because he is just going to bring all of the souls to their graves, basically. He wants to have everyone's last match under him. So the fact that he does the podcast with Jarrett, we're still probably at least 10 years away from it, but he's going to promote Jeff Jarrett's last match. He's going to be promoting Kurt Angle's last match. And yeah, he's going to even have...
going to have another last match.
See, you know how like Ric Flair went in the Hall of Fame, but then he was the first one, I believe, where we suddenly had the Four Horsemen in the Hall of Fame 2 times.
Yeah,
so we've had Ric Flair's last match. We haven't had the Four Horsemen's last match yet, have we? Arn Anderson, Tully, Barry Windham, I think, was at this event. So it's happening. It's on.
It's happening.
Yeah, the Four
Holy shit, you can actually see that. I can see that happening.
Okay, it's a slight segue here. Why did WWE never have a version of the Four Horsemen? They did Evolution.
The Four Horsewomen.
Yeah, I know. They never had They had Ric Flair. Anderson obviously was retired, but they never did a version of the Four Horsemen themselves. That is like one of the crying shames of wrestling.
I mean,
they had Evolution.
Yeah, but that's Evolution.
That's not the Four Horsemen.
It's not the Four Horsemen.
That's a completely different concept. But I think they did not when they even had the NWO, it was like a watered down version of the NWO. I think they didn't really want to take that much I think the only thing that I think Triple H in NXT, he's taking a lot from WCW, but I don't think WWF really wanted to directly take things from WCW.
I'm hoping Triple H won't have that attitude, because you think WWE got Sting, and they have him, finally, and they had to job him out to show that WWE beats WCW, even though WCW had been closed down for 15 years. And NWO, we're going to bring it in, but Vince is going to bring it in to kill WWE, and then he's going to be like, I'm stopping the NWO. It's that's not the point of the NWO. Will Triple H finally be the person to say, look, if you were someone big somewhere else, we're going to embrace that. We're not just going to beat you as if you're still in the other company.
I think that's what I mean. So a lot of people are saying that Triple H coming back is going to be this huge revolutionary move. I think that's what's going to decide. Does Triple H treat wrestlers that he did not make? He did that at NXT. He let Adam Cole be his PWG version. Will he allow wrestlers to be themselves? Will he in the main roster? Will he, or are we just getting if you're not made in the performance center, you're just a jobber? I
don't think he'll do that, because Triple H brought in Samoa Joe. When he first brought in Samoa Joe, he even allowed Samoa Joe to wrestle elsewhere for a little while.
Yeah.
I think he'll bring people and the Black and Gold NXT was just Ring of Honor, and we all know it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's going to have an issue with that. They have to come from the performance center.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, definitely. So, that also makes you think, will we see the door that's even more forbidden than AEW and New Japan? We could actually get, a WWE versus AEW show. I think honestly, SummerSlam has been, really, they don't really believe in the brands. If you really want to do a Forbidden Door show, have AEW versus WWE at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it would absolutely be on WWE's stage.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like it's possible that they could do that, but I don't know. We keep talking about Triple H. Nick Khan, Stephanie are actually the ones running things.
I think Stephanie. I think she gets a lot of hate. I think Stephanie would also go for what is best for wrestling and not best for business is a catchphrase, but she'll go for what is best for wrestling in general. I think same with Shane. Honestly, I think Shane gets a lot of hate as well. But Nick Khan, I mean, there people have said that Vince sees himself in Nick Khan. Nick Khan might just be a demon worse than Vince. Nick Khan, uh, he's this ruthless businessman. So that's I think the big issue right now.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, Nick is Tootie's uncle.
Dude, that's you might get cancelled for that.
Right. So let's have a look. Anything else from this week that anyone wants to react to?
I like we discussed the Adam Cole Young Bucks thing.
Yeah.
Really excited for but I'm also kind of like not now that they're doing the
Trios?
Hangman and Bucks versus undisputed era, whatever you call them.
Undisputed Elite.
Undisputed. I mean, they're undisputed elite with the Bucks, but now that the Bucks aren't part of them, is it still the undisputed elite? At one point, I saw they wanted to they copyrighted the name Paragon, which is really interesting.
I'm
because
sorry, what?
Paragon.
What name?
Paragon.
Isn't that
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the Pokemon?
I know what
Isn't that
you're
like the
doing.
little like robot Pokemon, like the dog?
That's Porygon.
That's the same thing.
No, but anyway, so the idea behind that is it's really.
I'll tell you the reason because of my reaction.
I know the reason because of your for your reaction.
Paragon is a well-known flip-flop brand in India.
That's brilliant.
But Paragon, I actually looked up. So it means excellence, and it actually comes from some Italian legend of.
And I remember there was a movie where the protagonist says that to the antagonist that if you don't get Bagon, I mean it's a repellent. If you don't find Bagon to kill cockroach, you can always use Paragon.
that I can see the memes now.
Okay, but as I was saying, so the idea behind Paragon is so apparently there's an Italian legend of someone converting black metal into gold, so kind of like alchemy, and so you still have the black and gold colors, which might be a nod to the old NXT.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm just going to see before we begin to wrap things up here because time's getting away. Let's see if there's any breaking news because there usually is when we do a show. And some of the headlines I'm seeing here. Eric Bischoff has apparently said Stephanie McMahon would kill Tony Khan in a fight. I believe that. Yes.
Stephanie McMahon would kill Brock Lesnar in a fight. She would just slap.
Yeah. No, I completely agree there. Okay, any other news? Selling WWE is the #1 focus of company investors. Now it's interesting.
That is really interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Claudio wants to see the Ring of Honor remain its own brand. Well, it should do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a little bit of history repeating itself where this just feels like WCW was bought by WWE.
I think they're still trying to get a TV, and with the Warner merger, with what we were talking about earlier, with the budget cuts there, I think they're trying to figure that out. But I also think Ring of Honor should totally be its own thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not even a I think when Ring of Honor was bought, we also discussed this. I don't think it should be a developmental to AEW either. I think the Ring of Honor World Championship should be at an equal status as the AEW World. It's the order of the championship.
Ring of Honor should be a developmental to only to WWE.
That's NXT.
Yeah.
That's NXT.
Well, led to NXT.
What
yeah,
if
I mean, yeah.
What if when Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, he just didn't tell anyone, and they were able to keep it under wraps that there is a mystery investor, and they were like,
I think we discussed this as well. That would
Did we?
have been the dude's a mark. Dude, like as MJF says, he just couldn't. He's like, yeah, bought this. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably would have done the same thing, but if I had that, I mean, also something I find funny. A lot of people like throw digs at Tony Khan for being the super fan, but if we had that kind of money, wouldn't we do I would do the exact same thing if I had that
"Oh,
kind
do you know what? This might be a good topic for another week, or we can have it very quickly now and then think about it. Like, if I had Tony Khan money, I would be buying up I'd be buying up wrestling promotions. I'd be starting a promotion. You know, I don't blame Tony Khan. We can joke about Tony Khan. But, you know, I wouldn't need to have, like, my little John Cena like this. I'd buy actual John Cena. I'd have actual John Cena. Like, I'd be sitting here, like, being like, oh, yeah, guys, so I bought a couple of things this week. And then I'd just be like, John, come here. Like this. And it'd be like, what am I doing here, David? But,
We won't be able to see him.
well, exactly. He's here right now. Very good,
Yeah.
Sarajit. Very
You
good.
know, I saw this meme a long time ago when Triple H got in Nakamura and Styles. So there was this meme that said, I go shopping and I get some groceries. Triple H goes shopping, he gets Nakamura and Styles. Like, fair enough.
Right, okay, let's see what the Iron Sheik has got to say for himself at the moment.
Of course.
So, nothing says I love you more than a suplex. This is true. So, the message there, everyone, is find your loved ones today and suplex them. Yeah, absolutely. Right, guys, we're going to wrap things here. We'll have some food for thought for next times. It was a good show today. Lots of bits and pieces to catch up on. We'll have another show next week, of course. Let's find out where we can find everyone on the social media. TJ, where can the people find you?
You can find me making a fool out of myself wherever you see me. But if you want to check out my artwork, you can go to Instagram and check out All Elite TJ Ripper. I know it sounds dorky, but yeah, I'm a dork. I'm literally wearing a Pokemon cap.
No, absolutely. Sarajit, where can the people find you?
Well, people can find me here next week, or maybe if I can make it to the show, and maybe they can catch me in few months when I beat TJ's ass in our last match.
Okay.
We
Well,
actually streamed that match here. We
yeah.
actually did a show wrestling like a long time ago. We will talk about it on a different show.
Wow, yeah, absolutely.
So we can have a match in my house, and we can put it in my house match.
This all fits. This is amazing. Right, so for me, my name's David Postansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Postansky. This is a Slam Jam wrestling show. Check out all of the YouTube channels I've got going on for Improv, for Slam Jam, for Geek Battle, and all that goodness. Till next time, stay safe. Always